Now that we've gotten through our first simple facing program with part number PG001, we're going to go and flip this upside down and mill this to 750 thousandths thick. So it's going to be a little bit of a repeat, but we're going to add something to it. Okay, so let's go back to our model here. We're at the PG001. I want to save a new copy of this, so I'm going to go to File up the top left and click on Save As this time, and just change it to PG002. Okay, so it's going to save the old one, PG001. That kind of went off to the side. And what it did, though, is it preserved everything we did originally. So it has that first setup still in here. All right. But we got to make a change because we got to bring this to 750 thousandths thick before we can do the other side. So I'm going to switch back from manufacture to design. And all I'm doing over here is I'm going to go down to the extrude on the bottom that we made for the other part, double click on it to edit it, and change the thickness to 0.75. Right, so now it's going to be thinner. And that's it. Save this again. And I'm going to go back from the design workspace to the manufacturer workspace again. So if we look up close, we can see that the original setup is still intact. It was that 40 thousandths coming off. But now we can tell by the stock that's remaining on the backside that we've got to take all that off to bring it down to 750 thick. So now we're going to just do a new setup. So with it kind of upside down like this. All right. So you can see that pointing down from the original setup. We're going to go setup, new setup. All right. So setup 2. We've got to change the direction of our X, Y, and Z axis because this won't work good if we're trying to go from the other side. All right. So what we're going to do is in the setup tab where it says orientation down here, click on that. And that drop-down menu, I'm going to select the second one that says select Z-axis / plane and X-axis. Click on that, and I want to select the bottom of the part, basically. I'm going to click on that for my Z, and my X is actually lined up fine, but if it's not, I could always have clicked on this for my X-axis, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to back up on that. Actually, model orientation. Then I'm going to do select Z-axis plane. All right. What I've got to do is I've got to flip my X-axis. No big deal. All right. Now I'm going to go to my box point down here, the stock point, where I want this to be. I got to click on box point and then up here. So it's on the upper corner of our stock. And my Z is going the right way. My Y and my X are all going the right way. So we're good. The stock is going to just say from previous. We'll keep that. In post-process, I'm going to change this so I have a new number. 54321 this time. Okay. Program comment is PG-0001. I'm going to put face to thickness. So we can distinguish it from the other program. And then G54 upper left. That's the end you choose. Okay, and now I've got a second setup ready to go. So we're just going to use the facing again. So go to, for my operations, it would be 2D face. I've already got my facing tool in here. It's selected tool number 1 for me, but if not, you could select it and then choose it from your personal library all over again. You could do that if you wanted to. All right. Now, if we don't do anything, we click OK. It will look as though it works, which is fine. But when we replay this setup on a simulation and we go really slow, zoom in. Actually, I'm going to look at it from the side. Look at how much is taken off. It's taken off a lot of stock all at once here. We don't want to do that. We want to step that down bit by bit, all right? Because that's just way too much stock to take off in one shot. Not a big deal. I'm going to exit my simulation and go back to where it says this operation, and you get that little icon for the facing tool, facing operation. I'm going to double click on that icon. It's going to open it up so we can actually change what's going on here. What I've got to do is I've got to switch past, go from tool, geometry, heights, and I'm going to go to what's called the passes tab. And right now, it's just taking it in one pass. But we can click on this box that says multiple depths. And it shows you that you can take a whole series of cuts one after the other just by setting up some parameters in here. And really the only parameter you have to set is your maximum step down, basically how much it's going to take at a time. And if you change this to 40 thousandths from whatever you have in yours, make sure it's, I have a double point there. 0.040 should be 0.040. All right. And I go OK. You can see already that this is done in multiple depth passes. So what does that look like? Well, we can go back, click on Setup 2, Simulate. I'm going to slow it down a little bit. Start the simulation. Oh, do that over again. I'm going to slow it down even more. Simulate that again. It's taking step downs in both directions until it's all done. All right, and that's it. Exit the simulation, and then with this Setup 2 highlighted, I can go do my post-processing. Make sure I add my letter O to the beginning of this. Check my properties and hit post, and then view NC code. Here's your new program, and it's got the program number here. It's got our notes up at the top, what it is, facing the thickness, G54 upper left. And that's it. We are done.